Welcome to the round 18 review for Supercoach 2023. It's George from Fantasy Take TV. This week, 2,370 and ranked 1.2k, went up 80 in the ranks. So I'll take that. I'm a little bemused by how he went up in the ranks because on paper, the team, like the bottom few players, players 17 to 22 of our starting team, horrific. And we made a really bad trade this week that netted us 1 point, which was not worth a trade, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, this week was very tough on a lot of people's ranks, or, I think those that held the 1 weekers of Jake Lloyd and who's the other one? Sarong. Tom Mitchell was sub, a few others as a defender that escapes me. Hayden Young missed, I can't remember. So a lot of huge carnage this week, DC and Tom Green as well. And then this week, just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, Butters has gone for scans. Laird played through shoulder or AC joint injury. I was at the footy and oh my god, the Crows. Season's over, so that's another story. But I was at the game behind the goals, a bit further back from the cheer squad, and the first player I see out is Ben Keys, and he's running up and down the boundary line. I'm like, oh, it wasn't. I don't think it was a fitness test, but it was. I don't know. He was just testing something out, and he was looking at his knee. So then I read on Big Footy that someone was saying the same thing, that like he went down the rooms with his knee, and wasn't that his gut running best or whatever. But there's been no reports of anything, but he might have been a bit sore, so I just found that a bit odd. So maybe he wasn't at his best either. So, and the mid-time was up again, but yeah, he's a bit of a concern there. So it was just, I don't know. We'll look at the team, but it's not looking good. And yeah, honestly, I didn't watch any football on Sunday because, one, I didn't want to watch Sicily because I was going to trade him in, and I was scared he was going to destroy me. And he actually got double tagged by Ford and Zeeble, which is not on the bingo card at all. I did read that Ford has tagged maybe last week or the week before, but I didn't really notice it. So, or I didn't take note of it until I read that. So, a bit saved there, and yeah, just the Crows losing really pissed me off. So, just yeah, when the Crows aren't going well, you just think that, like, you start blaming everything. Like, is it recruiting? Is it game plan or coaching? I think it's been we've rebuilt this club for 5 years and haven't drafted any elite mids basically, and we're basically coming out of the rebuild now. So yeah, I think Dawson, Laird, Walker, they do a lot of heavy lifting, and without those guys we'd be screwed. I think we'd be like bottom 6, so quite easily. So kids aren't really developing as would have liked, but that's enough on the crumb. So our trades this week, what the fuck were we doing? Ben Hobbs, and I didn't check the fixture. Well, I didn't really consider the fixture, but he played at literally the hardest place to play in Australia, Geelong in Geelong. And then he's got the Dogs midfield this week who hog the ball, and what was I thinking bringing Hobbs in? We traded DC and obviously didn't have much money, so I was tossing up between a whole bunch of stuff. I wrote on Twitter, but I wanted to get Sam Flanders in, and finally what happened was, under the new coach, Flanders 50% CBAs, David Swallow 9% CBAs. I don't know why Stuart Dew did not do this earlier, but finally this coach is using his brain. There was a thing came out on SEN that Sam Flanders was a bit out of favour, and Hollands, they were out of favour with Dew. They didn't see eye to eye. And well, no shit, this idiot Stuart Dew is wasting their careers. And if he stayed the whole year, those two probably would have requested a trade. So, and that's their top 10 picks. I think Flanders might have been maybe 11. I can't remember, but yeah, disaster if you lose those two. So I don't know what they were thinking there. So, yeah, thank goodness Stuart Dew's gone. He's a Supercoach terrorist, I think. So that's good that he's gone. But yeah, went Hobbs over Flanders. But if we went Flanders, we would have done Green to Sicily. And I just thought, going down to 0 trades, I know a lot of people have done it at the moment, but with no ruck cover, which we traded, could have been a disaster. So traded DC over Tom Green. I can't stand DC. You probably know on this channel, I've been calling him a fraud even before I brought him in. And lo and behold, the injury-prone ruck does another injury. Looks terrible. But apparently he's going to come back. So I didn't really know the timeline on him. And I just thought, well, I'm in 2 cash leagues. So if I can get Green back for the final 3 or 4 games and, piss off DC, I don't know the timeline. And I thought I was actually facing a donut until I realised Marich was a late in as well. So, yeah, that Hobbs, we could have fielded Marich instead of Hobbs, saved the trade, saved ruck cover, and got 1 extra point. But yes, I'm certainly not having a go at Hobbs for having a down game. That's Geelong and Geelong. They got smashed. And, he had like 13 contested. Like, I didn't watch the game because it was at the Crows. But no, Hobbs is a really good player. I like him a lot. Maybe a bit early. But, yeah, being a 50% CBA mid, the ceiling's not there. He's probably just going to... Hopefully, he looks like he can do 90. And they got a nice fixture after this week. So, fingers crossed for that. But, yeah, that was a bit of a blunder. One thing I've learned in this game, and for some reason I didn't take from my learnings this week, is and ahhing trades like on the day and the hours leading up to whenever your player's locked out. You never make the right call. You need to settle on a trade like well in advance so you just don't play with the team. So yeah, I was looking at all sorts of things to try and get Sicily in. I was looking at Archie Perkins. His CBA's went up a lot this week, actually. I was looking at Josh Worrell, and I just thought he's done hamstrings, but Worrell in Dude's role can do 85 to 90, I think, but at the same time, if a key defender goes down for the Crows, he has to play key defender, and yeah, we have no key defender depth at all, so that left that one out there. So yeah, I think I've been rambling for a bit, but yeah, it's a pretty difficult week. Yeah, that was my thought process, and just, yeah, stuffed it up. But we've ended up holding Tom Green, which what's his ownership? 28, so that would have gone down a fair bit. And a lot of these teams would be dead teams, so it'd be less than the top 1%. But yeah, teams not looking like, if you look at the team, so you look at this defense, well, Day's actually come good. His 5 round of 108, that's incredible. So I was hoping he'd do like 95 to 100, and he's probably done that for us. Since we got him, had like the 5 round of like 80 something, but now he's come good, so that's great that he's come good. So still like not as good as like a Houston or maybe a Ryan on current form. Doherty, I'm quite happy to pass on. He's a wingman now. This will be 3 points for him though against West Coast, but yeah, I'm happy that, I'm okay to anti-pod that. And Himmelberg, what does he do? He kicks it long 60 meters, gets chip mark, and takes kick-ins. Like, doesn't do anything. The intercepting's done by Taylor and Buckley. And yeah, I'm just like, doesn't provide much drive. He just kicks it long. Like, they can't overpay for him. Like, I like the Giants, and I'm trying to figure out a team to follow in the finals. I think it will be the Giants if they make it. They've got heaps of Western Sydney. It's full of wogs, and got a few wogs on the team, like Cogs and Kelly, and not Taranto anymore, but probably some more. So I'll go for the Giants this year. But yeah, he's a horrible own. But yeah, a lot of points to go around back there. So he's given us, I think it must be like 80 something, 82 5 rounds. So it's about what he's given us. So failed traded Cheezel to Himmelberg. We got 100k out of it, which we kind of needed, but yeah. Midfield was solid. Like Merritt's been so good, so it's whatever. Makes him cheaper for next year. Lockie Neal, 75. I can't remember what happened here against Melbourne, if he got tagged or not. I don't remember. Laird, unreal, 150. Like, just does all the heavy lifting. Andy, like, I don't even care if Andy has a bad game. He tries really hard every game, leaves it all out on the floor. A bit like Hobbs. They're different players, but Andy never gives up. Plays hard, and that's Hobbs is the same. He plays hard every game. Never has like a a bad moment effort-wise, so do like that. Steel 105. He's 3 round of 110, so a lot of people would have traded, so held my nerve there, which was good. And the MJ covered for green, so your Hobbs at M8, like that's not on. But I think we needed the DPP, and Butters was in there anyway. English Marshall, so yeah, English was the captain, so definitely that helped our ranks. But another lesson too, one of the reasons why I considered trading English, if I would have had Briggs, I would have done it. I probably would have done it just because if you look at how the teams, like how we finished our team, we Himmelberg for 300s, Keys for 400, DC for 450, and then our last trade we Butters for 600. So that's a complete waste of money. So it would have made our team a lot better. But yes, Briggs is like, he's struggling a bit. I think he's at times doesn't look great, but has some good patches that are making up for his score. But would have been very silly trading now, but something that lesson for next year. Don't trade the R1. And then we get Dunkley back this week, fingers crossed. So then Gordon, unreal. Rosie's been like, you just pencil him in for a decent score every week. He's unreal, so love Connor Rosie. Toronto good against West Coast, but is injured. Keys, I don't know if he's injured or just bad game, but he's prone to down games. Even when he was playing midfield, did have a few down ones, so a few years ago, so that's fine. Trades this week, we're gonna hold Green. Hopefully he's back in 2. If not, it'll be 3. But yeah, we're relying on MJ and Weddle pretty heavily at the moment, so that's kind of annoying. I think that's how we line up. So just sweat on Butters. But yeah, this DPP is pretty nice because you can say Butters doesn't play. That's not working. You can do kind of like this. Throw Chester there. I know, throw Day in the midfield and then loop Weddle or something. So yeah, we'll keep it like that for now. I'll say Butters isn't playing, and then we'll call on MJ and Weddle. MJ and Weddle again. Just like the amount of times we've needing cover, and there's still so much time to go, is incredible. But yeah, fingers crossed Butters' groin isn't too serious. You always worry about groins because they can turn into OP, but might just be like a strain or something. And we'll be back for in a few weeks, fingers crossed. So that's how we'll line up this week. Like, yeah, like look at this. Like Weddle, we're gonna bleed points at Fs. Like Himmelberg bleed, Weddle bleed, MJ here bleed, Hobbs bleed, maybe Keys bleed. So there's 4 or 5 positions where we don't have the real upside to actually do kind of well. So yeah, it's pretty cut. I didn't go Flanders. But yeah, I'd be very confident in Flanders if I went now. He's now like the Suns have finally dropped. You know, Rao, Anderson, CBA's dropped a little bit. Tukes was 60 odd, and then Flanders was 50, and that's perfect. Like this should have been done a long time ago. Instead of playing, how can you play Swallow in there when you've like taken all these elite midfielders? You know, you had to trade. You know, Brody was a top pick. Fiorini, they've had there, so they've had all these midfielders, and they've finally actually had a coach that uses his brain and says, let's put our top 10 picks in the midfield, or top first round picks in the midfield. So yeah, looking at Flanders' VFL numbers, like you see some players have like massive games, get like 45 touches, but Flanders does it every week. I think he's 10 points clear of the next best in the VFL in terms of averages. So yeah, anyway, it is what it is. But I mean, how much he would have gone up a fair bit. So annoyed that I didn't go Flanders, and he would have gave us 100k in the bank. Yeah, and should have been a good starting pick too. Is what it is. So I think that's pretty much it. I think shout out to Gaza Forever, who he's currently first. He's in our Discord, so well done to him. He's made some great calls that certainly picks. We'll have a look at his team quickly, but these picks, like, I would have been hesitant on, like a Houston and Ryan, like massive calls, like big up for that. Held Cheezel, good call. Brought in Danaher with a soft fixture. I think it's just his like 23rd, so it's whatever. So if Dano's in good form, Brisbane are good, so they have a soft fixture coming up. So it might be good, but you never know. But he can always loop him, so that's okay. And like, look at this midfield. Like, you can't stop this. This is like, I think if you wanted a midfield right now, I'm not sure you'd want anyone else other than these 8 players. So. And then defenders as well. Like if you wanted 8 players, maybe Sicily because he's got the fixture coming up in here somewhere. But yeah, these are perfectly good picks as well. We'll touch on captains. Novak started. I'll go watch Novak, Djokovic, and Alcaraz in a second. But captains this week. So we got English and Bont there. Taranto and Neil against Geelong. I'll probably skip that for sure. Brayshaw against the Swans. I like Andy, but probably doesn't have the ceiling that we want at the moment. I think he'll go pretty well though. Port, Collingwood, Dacos. I remember last time they tried to tag Dacos and they used Lockie Jones and it was like, it didn't work at all. Melbourne versus Adelaide. Don't have any demons. Pretty weird. I've had heaps of them over the years. And then Saints. So probably skip maybe Bont Friday night, big game against the Dons. I think Bont, I think Perkins goes to the big body mids, so might watch some tape on that because I didn't see the game. And then captain, honestly don't know. Dacos, I guess. Let's do that. So that's all from me. Thanks for watching. Good luck this week. Hopefully fielding a healthy team. And yeah, see you in the next one.